Hey, it's Jayar Jackson and Jason Rubin with you. Week 11 in the NFL. Turks and Jerks, the winners and losers. Our version of it, spelled cleverly. Let's start with the. We'll start with the jerks of the week. Those are always more fun. Which one of you guys wants to go first? Jay, why don't you start?
Well, that could be applied to both of us.
Both of us actually answered to the name Jay.
Oh, I don't call you Jay.
You don't?
I don't call you Jay.
So I knew you were talking about this guy.
Right.
Fair enough. So Chip Kelly. The Eagles' experiment is failing miserably. They went into this, was supposed to be a somewhat easy 3-game stretch to really see if that offense was going to click moving forward. And they lose to Miami last week. They get blown out at home, back-to-back losses to Tampa Bay. And credit to Jameis Winston, who could be a Turk of the Week nominee.
Sure, definitely.
But if you've been following some of the Reddit threads and forums, this gets picked up, there's a very angry Eagles fan going by the clever YouTube creator name Eat Dat Pussy 445. And he had this to say in regards to Chip Kelly.
How in the fuck do you let a motherfucking rookie quarterback known as Jameis Winston from Florida State let him march his punk motherfucking rookie ass in our motherfucking stadium?
He's an angry guy. I understand why.
Where can I follow that guy?
You can go to youtube.com/eatthatpussy445. He's been doing a couple.
I'm
Eagles
doing it
rants
now, I promise.
Each week. And if you go to see the rest of that video, viewer discretion is advised because it gets very racist and very vulgar very quickly.
Yeah, I'm not going to that.
No, I'm sure. I know you wouldn't be a huge fan of this guy.
Jameis Winston, 19 of 29, 246, 5 touchdowns.
All of which in the pocket, all of which to different receivers, and would have been 6 if Adam Humphries didn't drop this.
Yeah, totally dropped. And then just for good measure, Doug Martin, 27 carries, 235.
But remember, he doesn't like the name Muscle Hamster.
I don't know that story.
That was the nickname that fans gave him.
I don't know the story, but
saying no.
I don't know the story, but I wouldn't like that name either.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, here's the thing about Mark Sanchez. It turns out, and this is amazing to say, there is a drop from Sam Bradford to Mark Sanchez. Look, this guy's he's back. I mean, look, he's a backup quarterback. That's it. He's a backup quarterback. He is in the range of the 33rd to the 64th best quarterback in the league. I'd say he's 41, and he should never start unless somebody's hurt.
Right.
I mean, the mistakes, the dumb plays that guy has made throughout his career, and if it weren't for, a couple of nice playoff games where he played better than you thought, and a couple of moments where you thought, hey, maybe this guy was deserving of being, I think, the number.
It was a season and a half. He had a really good season and a half of his career.
I think the number 5 pick in the draft, that was what he was, But a season and a half, but I don't feel like it was straight. I don't feel like it was consecutive. Like, I feel like you could put together 21
It was those 2
okay
years
Mark
the Jets
Sanchez
looked
games.
really good.
Where they put a serious scare into the Patriots.
They also had a league-leading defense.
Elite defense, yeah.
By the way, Ben, 5:10 left in the fourth quarter. They're down 24. Chip Kelly, with his pedal to the metal offense, decides to go for the field goal.
At down 24 with 5 minutes to play.
Doesn't really matter what you do.
You weren't going to win.
I mean, this is the thing.
Yes.
They say cornerbacks
For Chip
have.
Kelly, that's a weird one.
I know we've switched from Chip Kelly to Mark Sanchez, but
Right.
they say cornerbacks have a short or have a bad memory because you're supposed to forget what just last happened. They complete a 45-yard touchdown pass on you, and the next time out, you're supposed to forget all about that. You're covering Des Bryant, doesn't matter. This is a new play, right? Quarterbacks need to have long-term memory. And Mark Sanchez has a memory like a cornerback. He forgets that last play, what he did wrong.
Yeah, you can't gun it in there. You can't do it. That's right. You can't do it.
He's like, it doesn't matter.
This time, I'm going to roll right. I'm going to throw back across my body into the middle of the field. It's going to go great. That's a good point. Let's talk about another coach who deserves a jerk of the week. And this guy, I mention him literally every week now. I am confounded by how John Fox works. I don't.
Oh, no.
I mean, this guy who doesn't
You
understand.
almost appreciate how much you've grown to watch and witness this.
Because as I've said a zillion times, he can run a team. He can organize a team. He should literally not work on Sunday. Like, this guy should be your coach, run the team, run the practices, pick the players, get it going. Nice job. He's a leader, right? But for the love, so this guy who, he doesn't go for it, doesn't call timeouts when he should, doesn't save possessions when he should. And then yesterday, with I think 7 minutes to play, a significant hunk of time to play, down 17-9, 4th and goal at the 4. It was 1st and goal at the 4. You're down to 4th and goal at the 4. Cutler's thrown 3 straight incomplete passes, if memory serves me correctly. It's 4th and goal at the 4, down 17-9. Then he went for it. Like in this case, because you need the touchdown and you still need the 2-point conversion afterwards, the odds of you getting both are pretty low. With that much time left, I actually would have kicked the field goal. And I'm amazed that he, being John Fox, I heard a reporter ask him about it afterwards, was like, his reporter was, as politely as he could, he was like, dude, what? You're you. You don't do that. And so they went for it and they didn't make it. And they got the ball back and they tied it at the end of the game. And they didn't get the 2-point conversion. And if they kicked the field goal, they would have needed the 2-point conversion and they would have won. So it wasn't 4th and goal at the 1. It was the 4. It's hard. You weren't down 14 points. Then I would have gone for it. You were down 8. I'd kick a field goal.
He's been hearing the criticism, particularly from you.
Yeah, but I mean, it shows me that it's not conservatism that plagues John Fox. He doesn't understand addition. He doesn't understand time. He doesn't understand, like, what's 8 plus 3? That's an interesting question. I don't know. It depends on the situation. What? No, it's 11. Like, I don't, like, I get it. And there are coaches who always would have gone for it there. And it's not the worst decision ever. You're down 8, you need a touchdown and a 2. But there were 7 minutes to play, and you're at the 4. And Cutler, I mean, your offense looked, as has happened with the Bears all year, inside the 5, they look weird. They don't know. Cutler's like, I'm going to throw this ball as hard as I can,
My jerk of the week is me.
Yeah, wow.
That's kind of how I looked when every time I complained.
When was that picture taken? Are you in Europe?
It's only a few weeks ago.
Doesn't it look? Doesn't that have a vaguely Italian look to it?
A Barcelona shirt on too.
So I complain. I make these faces when I complain, and so I complain about the concussions in the NFL. Guys dying at 45 years old, and you're like, oh, I loved that player. I forgot all about him. Didn't he just play in 1995? And then they're out of the league, and then they kill themselves, head injuries, and we all complain about it. My kid's not going to play football. I've said that. And then so they're taking all these measures to minimize all these problems. The NFL is listening to its fans.
Yep.
So now I'm complaining about how they're taking too much, I guess, caution when someone leads with their shoulder and they actually graze the forehead of a player. A quarterback is also a football player as well. He can be hit. So whenever someone's forearm grazes someone's face mask, not grabbing, forearm grazes across someone's face mask, penalty. 15 yards, unnecessary roughness. You're trying to kill him. Get out of the game. And in college, it's if they get those calls, and you are kicked out of the game. So I complain about that, but I also complain about the head injuries. I need to stop. It's okay. They're going to get some plays wrong, which they do.
So you should complain. Which one of you should?
I should stop complaining about the extra caution towards these guys.
Okay, all right, good for you.
Because at the end of the day, that's what's more important. Not a matter of whether or not this 15 yards is going to help this game in the way it probably wouldn't.
Don't you think that over time, which is what I think will apply here, is that, yeah, I mean, I saw a bunch of them yesterday, a lot of reaching for a legitimate tackle, but you got it. The head didn't even move. You really just grazed it. And they call it, and eventually over time, guys will be trained from the time they start playing. You should never reach up.
But it's hard to train for that.
No, I got it.
Impossible, actually.
So it'll go, but as a result it will go down. There'll be fewer of them.
And there's going to be missed tackles. And then when that guy has a missed tackle, we're going to say, oh, this loser can't tackle. What is he doing? Hit him.
Right. It's hard to say. I got it. But I think it's clearly this. I think you are the jerk of the week. But it leads nicely into mine because my jerk of the week is the Los Angeles Rams, wishful thinking. Yeah. The St. Louis Rams and the NFL. Obviously, the NFL doesn't have a specific role in yesterday's Rams-Ravens game, which most of America was watching. And I had the Ravens minus 2.5. It was a great game. Worked out just as I thought.
Yeah.
But Case Keenum gets hit there late in the fourth quarter. An offensive lineman, Garrett Reynolds, goes to try to pick him up, and he falls back down. I mean, you know, I'm not a doctor. None of us are doctors. Look at him holding his head there. Everybody who saw that play thought that guy has a concussion, and he has a fairly significant concussion, right? And it's clear. And by the way, and then when you look at it full speed, the rapidity with which his head hit the turf, he got hit hard. And then they try and help him up, and he's staggering around, and nobody did anything. There's this concussion protocol, nothing. He stayed in the game.
You know who saw it? Nick Foles. Nick Foles was on the sideline. Rush had his helmet on and was warming up. No one else was doing anything except for Nick Foles. He's like, that guy's out of the game. He's got a concussion.
And the NFL does
My
have
chance.
the NFL does have a say in this because they are up in the booth. There's someone at every game whose specific job.
Yeah, NFL has spotters in the press box,
Yes,
job to
and they
look out
call
for players.
down.
So
But no.
how the referee and the Rams and everybody stopped a guy, he was holding his head, then a guy helps him up and he whopped. I mean, you got to
He
get
drops
that.
back down, hands and knees. I thought he was gonna.
He
I thought he was
fumbled
gonna
two
throw
plays
up.
later.
He
Honestly.
fumbled 2 plays later.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have fumbled anyway, but the terrible thing about him fumbling 2 plays later isn't the fumbles that he took another hit 2 plays later.
Yeah.
And when you got a concussion that we know now, like, don't get hit again. It's not one of those things where, well, you can't make it any worse. No, you can make it worse.
Yeah.
He had no business being on the field. He did fumble. As a result, I'm glad. I mean, I had the Ravens, but I'm glad the Rams lose. And then Joe Flacco got hurt, got rolled up on by his own
He's
guy.
out for the year.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens ran the ball, got it down to I think about the 30-yard line with 38 seconds left. They got the first down. Rams are out of timeouts in that game, so there's 38 seconds left. And I thought you go up on first down, you spike it,
Yeah.
and then you throw a pass. You'll have 30
Right.
seconds, 25 seconds. You can get closer. But the Ravens didn't, and I'm screaming like, who chooses to kick a 47-yard field goal when maybe you could kick a 37-yarder or a 30-yarder? And then after the game, you learn Joe Flacco had torn his ACL, and I guess Harbaugh was like, just don't move like that. So I took all that criticism back.
Right.
I was like, okay. And as it turned out, Justin Tucker, being a great kicker, made that field goal. But that was a weird end of the game to watch. Again, nobody cared, nobody was watching. But the league and the Rams, I mean, we have the rules here. The protocol is in. We now know the dangers of concussion. A guy holds his head like that, you got to go get him. And you have, I mean, the fact of who your backup is shouldn't matter, but the fact is your backup's quite capable of playing. In fact, he's a better player.
Yeah. They're
Nick
both very
Foles.
similar.
So
I guess corrections I had to do is first. I'm sorry, it wasn't Nick Foles. It was Brad Sanford that was ready to get into the game. His name is not Nick Foles. So I just want to get that out of the way
Sure, I
first.
understand. Good
And number
call.
2, I was watching the game. I
Like
think
the rest
yeah,
of the
but you
country.
grew up
Yeah.
in St. Louis. That's the
I
difference.
think Case Keenum had a concussion at kickoff.
Yeah, Case Keenum. Like, I got it. We don't want to make fun of it, but I hear you. That's why I bet on the Ravens. I'm like, you're giving me the guy. He's not gonna. They can't complete passes. They're not gonna. And yet it was 13-3 in the fourth quarter. But yet I won. So who cares? Anyway, I hope Case Keenum's okay. All right. So that's Jerks of the Week. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and check out our Turks video. And don't go watch that thing that Jason recommended.
Oh, no, definitely go watch that thing.